Okay, so I think everybody has the most important part from this session, that's the beer. I'm just the background on this to keep you entertained while you drink. So my name is Thomas Grassl. I'm heading the developer and community programs at SAP. So you met a few of the folks like Marius, Maxi, Svea of the team. And basically our mission is like to help, as Max put it very nicely, like we're in charge of you. Like everybody out there who wants to learn about SAP technology, understand what a CAP is. I think like Max did an amazing job. Like it's like these new topics, like carrying them out to the folks and like get them started. But we're also working inbound. It's like where we also renamed part of the organization, which were evangelists before, and we felt like it's not like that we go out and preach about like certain things, so they're called advocates now. So we're also taking a lot of like input, like what we see from developer events, like, and then we take it back to the product teams and say, you guys, that's not so clear, nobody gets this. It's kind of like one of the home pages, like it's developers.sap.com. We also try to make it simple. The other one is community.sap.com. So these are two main properties what we maintain. And basically, as I said, it's like on the developer side, we want to get you started. And you see, like, we also do it not only for the SAP ecosystem. Like, for someone, like, I think, like, inside track, you all, like, probably deeply invested in SAP technologies and working with the stuff, but also reaching out to folks who are, like, new to SAP technology to better to understand this. For example, I'm interested here, there's not, like, HANA and all the products listed. It also goes into the different items. And you also see, like, sometimes my team has a lot of fun, so they create, like, even tutorials where they have helped Thomas how to learn HANA. And yeah, so then that's exactly like, so it's also a fun team, and that's what we also want to do with the developers, have like some fun out there. I did not prepare too much because Gregor said like just do a Q&A, so I want to keep some time definitely for questions. I don't know what's up there on your mind. We just came through the last two tickets in Las Vegas and in Barcelona. Question like who has seen the videos or live the ticket keynotes? Okay, that's good. So this is basically one of the things, if you've seen it, like Jürgen Müller, our CTO at SAP, did the two keynotes in Las Vegas and in Barcelona. There will be another one coming in Bangalore. That's November 11th, I think, and then 12, 13, 12. See, someone knows it better. I need to fly there, but I don't know when it is. And what Jürgen tried to do is, like, because there's so many things going on around technology that he really like, okay, I want to get everything into these three keynotes. So if you only saw like Barcelona, then go back and maybe have a look at Las Vegas. Also, I encourage you to have a look out for the keynote in Bangalore. And that should give you really, in probably like every keynote is an hour and a half. So that's 4.5 hours, but you should get a really good overview about the strategy, where we're going with the different technologies. Just on the highlight, the focus from us on the technology side is you probably have seen it from the keynotes, there's a lot of like focus back into the business processes. So we got also some feedback, like why is SAP explaining so much around business processes? I think it's also to highlight, like we know exactly why people are using SAP, it's around the business processes. And there's a lot of like information and work going on how to make it easier for the developers, but also for the system architects to drive all these business processes. There's also where a lot of investments are currently going in. And if you hear from, for example, about intelligent enterprise, if you're interested, there's a YouTube video out with another Bavarian guy drinking beer. Doing tickets, Gregor. So Gregor and I did an interview about the intelligent enterprise, what it means for the technology enthusiasts and developers. I always explain that like there's a lot of like things what we are currently doing in the background to make these business processes work better. Like it's mostly about integration. So for example, if you have an S4 system and you want to integrate it with your HR system, that should get much easier out of the box. So this is a lot of the focus what we're doing around this. So there's definitely a lot of highlights in I think it was in the first keynote. I think another highlight, which we unfortunately could only release in a closed beta, is SAP Graph. SAP Graph, you can imagine, is a way of like very easily get access to the different SAP information. And almost like our goal with SAP Graph is to make it that easy that any developer out there should be able to, for example, pull custom information, pull order information without even knowing they're going against an SAP system. So this is also like a highlight. And I see fingers coming up, and that's great because that helps me to go into the Q&A session. I want to encourage this. So with Tobias, if you want to start with question, let's dive into that one.
About Graph, I don't really understand if this is like GraphQL or is it just a name from SAP?
So it's a name, like the concept, if you look at it, is very much, it's RESTful, like behind it. But for example, you can, but it pulls the graph kind of like behind the scenes. So you don't need to understand, for example, where does the information come from. So
the graph is like a product name?
It's a product name. It's a product name. It's not GraphQL.
And then my backend is talking O data. What do I get actually back from Graph? Also O data? Or something new RESTful?
RESTful. It's all RESTful.
Yeah, but O data is also RESTful. So is it the O data protocol or is it like a dummy JSON something I get back?
It's JSON. It's JSON right now. But this is like a little bit where we keep it open. Like the product is not even out yet. So I know like you can register for the beta. We kept it very restricted right now. That's what I hear. And really the thing is like, for example, if you get, let's say, get me a list of my customers, then you get, for example, the customer ID or the customer name. And then you basically can do like a REST, like / customer name and then orders. And then you get, for example, all the orders. Or also the other things, like for that part, for example, it would pull it from an ERP system, from an S4. Like let's say I'm pulling an employee information that would potentially come from an success factors cloud instance. See, and
yeah, the first one. I wrote a blog about the topic.
So if you're interested in Graph, the blog probably goes the deepest, I hope so.
Yeah, scratches the surface at least. There's a quote down there to explain it in one sentence. A little bit down. Yeah, there's one quote from Graph SAP and one from doesn't go into detail when it comes to OData, but explaining that it's not GraphQL, it's just navigating somehow through an enterprise without knowing what is actually technically behind. And you get business objects through one single endpoint with one authentication, unlike the SAP API Business Hub, where all the technical APIs are listed.
Yeah, and just like, because there was a lot of questions, thank you, Max, on that one. Like there's API Business Hub is continued, and we will support a lot of the deep APIs, but there you need to like, okay, I'm going against a success factor system, I'm going against an S4 system. Like API Business Hub, that's for someone who really understands how the system works. Where you find all the APIs, you can do basically everything we opened up with the APIs. In Graph, you need to imagine that's a simple layer on top. I always call it the headless application function and API on top or across all SAP. But of course, we also have restrictions. We will not give you like everything that you can do directly in the API Business Hub against S4. That will be not available in Graph. So there will be like the basic information, like how to get customer information, etc. And that's the web page. So definitely stay tuned. This is something like more towards for projects where I say like someone externally, let's say there's someone who's like, "Hey, I need to build an a web application or a web front end, and I need to, for example, display like order status on this." Probably that's the right thing to do it by a graph, or you build like something internally. The demo we did, for example, at Las Vegas was together with Cisco, where they used like an internal tool, but they needed certain employee information, and that's where they used Graph for it, customer information. So it's also like to use other tooling, you don't need to use SAP environments to get to SAP information. Good. Any other question on Graph, or in general? Like don't want to go too deep. I can continue. Other things definitely I've seen on the HANA side. There's a lot of like announcements in Barcelona about HANA Cloud. In a nutshell, what is HANA Cloud is like we looked at HANA once more. Like HANA was basically like one instance where you had to install it, was one gigantic big kernel, and the team behind it came in and said, okay, let's make this fully cloud ready. So what it is, like now we can really do dynamic scaling and these parts with HANA. So like initially when we installed it, you needed to know, okay, that's 128 gigabyte memory HANA now, and then if you needed to upgrade, basically there was an upgrade path, so you have to reconfigure it and go higher. But that was not a smooth transition. You basically had to do in parallel another HANA system and then migrate it over. Now basically what you can do is just go into the configuration, into the admin, and say, okay, instead of 128, I need 256 on gigabyte for HANA, and then it's automatically done. So these are also then like other services which go more into administration. This is offered through the cloud, so you can, for example, now need automatic backup for HANA. That's what you get. So it's a full-fledged cloud offering of HANA. This is also available in the fall, or like late fall, I think like in Q4. I know the times when I cannot tell them, but so that's on HANA. Also data warehouse cloud. So you see there's a lot of like movements of SAP to provide the functionality in the cloud. And that's also a lot of like activities which we drive internally. I think now it's also for us in developer relations. I just got a call on Thursday from one of the managers, like, oh, we need you guys to update a lot of the information like on your web page, the tutorials to get everybody into the new solutions. So that's what we are currently focusing on. And then finally, around TechEd, I think one thing was also like we introduced a little bit more about Qualtrics. Qualtrics is the experience management. That's what SAP acquired about 10 months ago. I think often what I get from the different developers is like, what is experience management and how can I use this? I think like the big differentiator is really to better understand your customers, your employees, and learn from this information and put it into your execution. The example what's always is given is like, yeah, you do like, I don't know how many of you do employee surveys in the company, like the bigger ones, yeah. So, but then it's not only like to do the survey, where Qualtrics is really good. I'm using it in our organization. It does out-of-the-box analytics. So it's not like, it highlights like, okay, here's a problem in your employee survey. It's not just like, okay, let me give you all the information and data. You also can look into like the sentiment. Are the answers what people give in free text? What is the sentiment? And this is stuff you can also integrate into other products. So for example, if you run a web page where you get information back from your customers, you can plug this in with the API from Qualtrics to check the sentiment. And then, for example, if you do this on your products, like for example, you have a support hotline, and you get the emails in, these you can also put into Qualtrics. So then the next thing is, and that's what we're doing right now in SAP, we're combining all this information into one Qualtrics instance. So like every information I get, so for example, someone tweets and we can identify them, goes into that Qualtrics instance. If there's the same person coming in, providing a support ticket, and we see like that person is really upset, we see this in the Qualtrics instance. So the next thing is we see, for example, we can then, it's not only the person, but it goes also into the product. So we see like how does this relate to certain products? Like what is the current most complaint feature about in this product that helps the product manager to do something around these areas. So this is in a nutshell Qualtrics explained. It is also open as api.qualtrics.com. And that's where you can go deeper. And I see you.
I have a question. So can we use that as part of our inside track Orga software? Make it available?
There is a free Qualtrics developer, but I think it's restricted to, I think, 10 I need 10 questions. But there's a free version out there, which you can use for small surveys.
And is the person giving the answers, are they anonymous?
Yeah, so that's exactly like all the things, like of course, like if you can run it, like in most of the services, like default it's anonymous, but like in the end you could say like, oh, I'm putting my email in because this is like sometimes if you fill out a survey, in the end the last question is like if I want to get more information or don't mind if I get identified, I can put in my email. But otherwise it's always anonymous. And it's, yes, there's a lot of like things you need to look into this. This is also where Qualtrics helps you to like from regulatory and all of these things. And it runs, that's the nice thing. Like, I must say, like we also now switched internally to Qualtrics on a lot of like the instances. It runs very nice, and I'm looking right now into it from the community as well.
Yep. So it's the upcoming community survey.
Yeah, so that's like one pitch. We're also constantly like looking for feedback. So right now there's a community survey looking more like for the website from feedback, but we're also starting a bigger survey, and it will be launched through developers.sap.com, the community, where we basically want to get a public survey out, where we see like what people are doing, what areas they are interested. It helps us to refine our products, but we're also planning to share this information. So like where are our demographics on developers, what are they doing, which products they're currently working with, what products they're looking into. So look out in the November timeframe. That's where we'll launch the survey and hope for a lot of responses.
Good.
Good.
Thank you very much, Thomas.
Thank you. Thanks for the beer and for the amazing organization. Like you guys are awesome.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Power
Power. It is so cool, this label, because it actually has our very first inside track date on there.
We did some research.
You did. This is so cool. So I'm going to keep this model. So the 12th of October, 2013. My, how time flies when you're having fun.